In New Orleans, easy to find at Lebanon's Cafe for the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine. Make it Mediterranean diet on Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Another challenge for the Green Hornet. His aide, Cato, and their running arsenal, the Black Beauty. On police records, a wanted criminal, the Green Hornet is really Britt Reed, owner-publisher of the Daily Sentinel. His dual identity known only to his secretary and to the
100 years ago, last Monday, Jumbo Al Hurt, this cat on the trumpet from New Orleans, was born. Go, Al, go. Old Jumbo. That's right, 100 years ago, last Monday, Al Hurt was born. Jumbo, the man playing the trumpet on that very tune. For you older generation folks, it's the Green Hornet theme. For you younger generation folks, you're like, what? That's from Kill Bill. Corey Johnson with you on an absolutely gorgeous Thursday afternoon. Doesn't get much better than this. Tomorrow, we should expect similar weather as today. Not too much different from today. You know, it's crazy. Right down the street, 4 or 5 hours east, you go into Pensacola, you go into Destin, you go into that 30A area. All you folks with that little blue sticker on the back of your vehicle. I'm familiar with the 30A area. Panama City. A lot of rain in that direction. Not here. Beautiful and sunny today. Tomorrow, very similar. Wake up to around 60 degrees, creeping into the low 70s. Humidities, right around 50%-ish. Pretty nice. Then overnight, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, a cold front will start rolling through New Orleans. Might bring some rain with it. Rain expected. Sunday is going to be that post-rain cold front day in New Orleans. Sunday on the South Shore, waking up to temperatures in the low to mid 40s Sunday morning. Saturday, you'll probably wake up to, near 70 degree temperatures. It'll get colder as Saturday progresses. Sunday morning, 40s. Monday morning, low 50s. Tuesday morning, low 50s. Lots of 50s and 60s. Even some 40s mixed in for like the next week, starting on Saturday. Tomorrow, another blockbuster perfect day. Friday. Yeah, you right. Thursday afternoon, Corey Johnson with you. So much to cover. Got a blockbuster program lined up for you. Could have 0 guests, no guests, and there's enough stuff going on, kind of as usual in the city. The mayor was quiet for a while, not so much anymore. Got a lot of stuff to cover, but I've got a couple of big guests joining us. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser's about 10 minutes away. We'll talk with Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, who would like to become Governor Billy Nungesser. And his Republican Party appears to have sold him out and has already endorsed Jeff Landry, the Attorney General state of Louisiana. I've seen the Republican Party, and I'm just picking on them. We could easily bring up Democrat Party examples. Gary Chambers for Senate, for example. Anyway, I've seen the Republican Party endorse the wrong candidate before. 1990, 91 governor's race. Hey, don't endorse the incumbent Republican governor, Buddy Roemer. Let's endorse this guy we know can't win, Clyde Holloway, who pulls just enough vote where you put not one, but 2 Democrats in the runoff. Not one, but 2 Democrats in the runoff. And who are the Democrats that the Republican Party delivered to us for not backing the Republican incumbent governor, Buddy Roemer? None other than David Dork and the criminal Edwin Edwards. What a joke. Oh, I've got to vote for the guy who has no morals, ethics, integrity, the scumbag, the piece of garbage, Edwin Edwards. You're like, wait, is he talking about David Duke? Edwin Edwards, or the vile, racist, belligerent moron, the Joker, a clown character, David Dork. Jeez and Pete's. It's like you got to eat something really bad, and what's the smaller amount of what I've got to eat? Jeez. Hey, man, this is terrible. Try it. That's what we're stuck with. Yeah, I want to try it. You're telling me it's terrible. I mean, I'm anxious to try it. Anyway, Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, 10 minutes away. We'll find out what happened with the Republican Party and the endorsement of Jeff Landry, which seems to have gone under the radar. No one really cares in Louisiana. I think there's a big difference, Republicans, between Jeff Landry and Billy Nungesser. Wow. And I don't think the voting record's all that different. Coming up in about 25 minutes, New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas will join us. We'll talk about elections, the local elections, what it means. Talk about the latest and greatest with the mayor. That's coming up in a second. Earth-shattering. We'll also talk about this last election cycle locally. It's 2022. I'm still hearing spots like for black candidates running against a white candidate, specifically this Duplessis, Mandy Landry Senate race. They are trying to divide us. We've got to make sure we're represented. We don't need them representing us. What do they know about us? This black, white, I'm not saying anything about Duplessis or Landry. Who's better, who's not. But let's pretend Duplessis is terrible and Landry's great. It doesn't matter. You just go with the black candidate because of skin color over the white candidate. It's kind of crazy in 2022. And it's kind of crazy to me how those commercials still are on the air. I'm not offended. And, I don't care. I'm a white, heterosexual male. I'd say in America, the skids are pretty greased for me compared to everybody else. I love white folks. There's no white entitlement. Yeah, I know. Forget about your life and your box and you worked hard and you earned what you got. That's normal. That's what most people do. Compare yourself against everybody else. Would you want to be your circumstance, a white male going into the interview, or female or black or Asian? And don't give me the, hey, man, if I'm qualified line, should all be the same. Yeah, should all be the same is right. Should all be the same, but it's not. Anyway, no, the skids are greased for me, so I don't really care. But I don't think it's a positive angle. They want to take it away from us. We need this black and white divisiveness. Fox 8 investigative report, Lee Zurich. We'll hear it in its entirety in about an hour, 5 o'clock powwow. An NOPD officer, while on the clock, spending a lot of time with the mayor at the city-owned Pontalba apartment. Like, the mayor's not working, this NOPD officer's not working. You can think about anything you want, any insinuation. That's great. Put that on social media, do whatever you want. I don't care about any of that. I just wonder, what's the mayor doing? Still at the Pontalba apartment, watering plants. I mean, lives there. That's her apartment. That's the mentality. Her apartment. I'm going to just take advantage of this city-owned apartment. Go rent an apartment if you want to live somewhere. Go get on the list for the Pontalba, the city or state-owned one. Maybe you'll get one. Anyway, so that's a problem, taking advantage of a city-owned property for personal use. It's real simple. That's it. Using the city apartment for personal use. She lives there a lot of the time. Oliver Thomas, who's coming on, he doesn't go use it. And then this police officer who's on the clock from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and he's, watching cable TV at the apartment. I have no clue what's going on. It ain't right. I hope the IG's on it, some fair, legitimate investigators. We'll see. Crazy. More than a year later, speaking of crazy, mayor should be focusing on this. Nothing on the Six Flags site. After today, maybe going backwards, the Industrial Development Board meeting discussing the site, Troy Henry, Bayou Phoenix Group in attendance. Mind-blowing, mind-boggling that this thing just can't get moved forward. It's the city. It doesn't matter what city entity it's under. It's the city of New Orleans, and they can't get their you-know-what together to get this thing rolling. Think if it was Flying J Truck Stop or Bass Pro Shops or Buc-ee's, it would be universally embarrassing. You wonder why that Buc-ee's was going outside of Baton Rouge and then pulled the plug. It was the first outside of Texas Buc-ee's going to Baton Rouge. Google it, about 5 years ago. No, they pulled the plug because they're like, Louisiana politics are a joke. And they're now in just about every southern state. You can go to a Buc-ee's soon. That Menge exit in Mississippi will have one in about a year or so. Corey Johnson
The Woodhouse
with
Day
you.
Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, no cool spots. NolaAC.com, no cool spots.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms, with high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure, Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good, buddy. Some meters, old stuff like 55 years ago or so, late 60s. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for joining us on a Thursday afternoon. Thanks for finding us on the radio, on television, all over Louisiana. We've been on YouTube the last few months, too. Check us out, Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground. Well, I was pretty disheartened the other day. I'm a registered independent. I want to see the state move forward. I want to see the Democrats, the Republicans act in a reasonable fashion. On Monday, the Louisiana Republican Party, basically one-ups the Democrats. I remember when John Kennedy's running for Senate, I told you he's going to win. But maybe this Luke Mixon guy, kind of a blue dog Democrat, you got a 1-7. You got a 1-8 maybe. Instead, the Democrats endorsed Gary Chambers. You got a 1-1,000. Just no shot. Guys on the TV smoking weed, burning Confederate flags. Just crazy. Crazy. Kennedy won with 68% or 62% or something. That was obvious. No, and then the Republican Party, we're going to one-up the Democrats big time. The governor's race. I don't even know all the Republicans running. I know a few that are running. One of them's Jeff Landry, and shockingly, I think kind of crazy, extreme, not a bridge builder, out for himself, got a bunch of side gimmicks with his brother, importing Mexican workers, all kind of crazy stuff. $1,000 a week on the Harvey Marine board, $1,000 a week. The Harvard Marine folks are like, he doesn't sit on the board. He doesn't do anything. We just like having him on the board. $1,000 a week. That's Jeff Landry. The Republican Party endorses him. I'm blown away. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser joins us on the program. He's a Republican. He's running for governor. He's the sitting lieutenant governor. Billy, you have to be miffed. You have to be blown away. How did this go down this way? And by the way, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm doing great, my friend. My father and a lot of good Republicans put up their own money, worked hard to build, and to have a few follow the money. They get offered money to the party. They'll do anything, and that's not the way this party was built. All the members deserve a vote, and all the Republicans of Louisiana deserve better. It's obvious. You've been hearing all the rumblings of the party, and this one's got a consulting contract, and the executive is a consultant and works for Jeff Landry, and this one and this one. It stinks to high heavens. And then, we talk about fair elections, and they're getting in a room, and the chosen few are making the decision for Louisiana. Look, there's going to be a lot of good Republicans running for governor. And then we're going to listen to Eddie Rispone say, well, we got to get behind one early because you don't want what happened to me happen to him. Eddie Rispone shouldn't be deciding anything. He lost the race and ran a horrible race. And he shouldn't be, first off, he's not a kingmaker. It's for all the state central committee members to decide. And then the fact that they won't release the people that supposedly voted, come on.
They won't release what, Billy? The what?
We've asked for, give us the third or 2/3 of the people you called and give us the vote. Now, we're not going to do that. We took a verbal, but we're not going to release the names or the vote that was taken. I think Louis Gerben should resign, and I think the State Central Committee ought to have a meeting and replace all of those executive board members that have all kind of side deals with different people and don't do right by the Republican Party or the state of Louisiana. they do right by their small clique and who's getting money and who's got consultant contracts. It's all about the money, and that's not what built this party.
Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser's with us on the program. Is this final, Bill? You think this is done, or?
I don't know. I think I surely any decent person would give up the endorsement and say, let's make it fair. But we know that's not going to happen. But look, they strong-armed the same thing for Vitter. It didn't work so well for him. But if we let these small group of individuals, they will destroy the party.
Because of what?
They're the chosen ones.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, look, I've gotten hundreds of calls, raised a lot of money over the weekend from people that are outraged. So I think for the greater good, we're going to, a lot of people have said they want to resign their position. I've asked them not to do that yet. I think we can oust these people in the short or the long run and save the party and elect people that really want to do the right thing. Fair and open discussion, fair and open debate over who's the best candidate. And then everyone can get behind whoever makes the runoff. But you think anybody wants to be involved in this type of stuff and supporting someone that's chosen before the field is even clear? That's ridiculous.
Billy, how did you find out about this? Did you see it coming along weeks, even months ago? Eddie Risponi behind the scenes. Did you see this happening, or were you blindsided by it over the weekend on Monday?
Well, I got a call from somebody that said, they were trying to have a convention in Shreveport, and they couldn't get enough people to support Jeff, so they canceled the convention. Then they went to calling people. One lady told me she felt that they insinuated they were going to run someone against her if she didn't get on board. 7 other people told me they were told I was not running, and that if they didn't endorse Jeff now, that they would end up with Bill Cassidy as governor. So they needed to do it before the election to keep Bill Cassidy, which is ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
So it appears they pick and choose who they wanted to call and what they told them, and they use their henchmen to do the dirty work.
Yeah, normally, isn't it a smaller group of representatives sort of deciding this, and then it turned into a much larger group that you were saying they called on the phone to get a vote? How does it normally work, and how did it work this time?
Usually you have a convention, all the candidates get up and speak, and they vote. They can vote for endorsement, they can vote for no endorsement. There's calling around, telling stories, getting affidavits, getting verbal support, and then say we're not going to release the people that voted. Well, who knows if they really got the votes they say they got?
That's a great point. Exactly. Just make it up.
And listen, they won't release the finances of the party. Who's getting consultant contracts? Louis Gerbich keeps the checkbook. There's no checks and balances.
Now, who's Louis Gerbich?
He's the chairman.
Okay.
They need to come clean. Full disclosure, the people that donate to the party should not donate a penny until they know where their money's going.
That's a good point.
Because it's surely not going to electing good Republicans.
No, and it's going. There's obviously an agenda here, and a group that's doing something kind of the needs of the few instead of the needs of the many. But Billy, it's not a public group, right? It's basically a private entity. They can break their rules. They can do whatever they want, right? You just want to see what this traditional statewide Republican Party live up to what it's always been. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we need some rules in place for these parties to have full disclosure of their financial records, and anybody that sits on a board or an executive position needs to disclose any side gigs or contracts they got with candidates or potential candidates, because you never know who's on the payroll.
Billy, before we let you go, why do you want to be governor of Louisiana?
Well, listen, I got the best job in the world. We've turned the state parks around from losing money. They were supposed to close. Not only they stayed open, they're making money. We fixed the library system. We fixed the museums. We've got 5 record-breaking years in tourism before COVID. We've doubled our Volunteer Louisiana. We've taken over Keep Louisiana Beautiful. And we've done great things because of one reason. We roll up our sleeves and we work hard for the greater good of this state. If we don't elect a governor that doesn't take money for anything other than good government and absolutely does everything that we need to do to clean up this state, bring economic development, fix the education, and does it for the right reasons, we'll never get off the bottom of these lists. Listen, fixing education is a 7 to 9 year process. The next governor after me will get credit for it. That's okay. That's why we've never built these bridges.
You're right.
Because everybody wants credit when they're doing it. No, we need to do the long-term solutions to fixing this state, and the next governor can take credit. And if you don't care who gets the credit, we can achieve great things. But that requires elected people that really care about Louisiana, not their political future.
Yep. Well said. Billy, always a pleasure. Best of luck in the race, and best of luck with the Republican Party.
Have a great weekend.
You too. That's Billy Nungesser joining us on the program. Corey Johnson with you. Coming right back on a gorgeous Thursday.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Portnola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
You know, body language tells you a lot about what a person's thinking. For instance, that means she has an interest in the finer things in life.
The Neutral Ground with Corey
That
Johnson.
means she also wants a little fun in her life, but only with the right man.
Corey Johnson.
Now she's pouring a Colt 45.
Oh, yeah.
And we all know what that means.
Yeah, you right.
Mind if I join you?
You must have read my mind.
Something like that.
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
It does. It works every time. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Helm Paint and Decorating has 7 locations. When the weather's like this, and it'll be like this tomorrow, why don't you knock out that painting job you've been blowing off for weeks, months, years even? Helm's got everything you need to do it once, do it right. Benjamin Moore Products, Joey Keith, Ronnie Helm, Christy Helm taking care of you. Helm Paint and Decorating. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. For over 50 years, Helm Paint and Decorating. Oliver Thomas, New Orleans City Councilman, joins us. Oliver, I love the Pontalba Apartments. I like the balcony. When do you get your 2 or 3 weeks or few months? I'm assuming the city rotates the apartment through council people, department heads. When do you get your time at the apartment? I want to come hang out on the balcony with you.
Man, my name is Bennett. I ain't in it, man.
Wow.
No, we don't have. I don't have that privilege. I think that's executive privilege. Don't forget. I'm just merely a legislator.
You don't think it's executive privilege?
No. Oh no. Everybody got to have somewhere to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. Boy, you're easing your way out of that one. Go rent a place, Mayor. Jeez and Pete's. Unbelievable. Anyway, I didn't get you on to talk about that. How have you been doing?
Man, I've been doing good, Corey. Corey, how you been?
I've been well. Oliver, we can sit here and like if your kid's bad or something, we can sit here and say it's the brother, it's his sister that did it, the friend got him doing it, the environment, the matches were there next to the gasoline can, the brick was by the window. You can sit there and go on and on and on, but ultimately it's like the parents. So we can sit here.
Do like Flip Wilson and say the devil made you.
Yeah, exactly. So the devil made them do it. The Industrial Development Board, the city of New Orleans, Bayou Phoenix, Troy Henry, the process itself. We can go on and on with all the excuses. The bottom line is it's been a year and the, quote, city of New Orleans can't get their you-know-what together to get this deal going already, to get shovels in the ground. It yells, hey, we don't care if it gets going or not. We're not trying to help. We don't care.
Well, it's too often it's about control. And it's like I said today at the hearing for Economic Development Department, sometimes the best thing the city can do is get out of the way.
Yes.
Period. And I think too often, and I asked that, I said, why is it so much easier to do business in our region? What are we doing or not doing? And every mayor, every executive says every year, we're going to make permitting easier. We're going to have one-stop shopping. But the key is it's stopped. It's stop shopping. It ain't one-stop shopping. So we got to make sure that, whatever we do, sometimes that the government needs to be out of the way. And with this deal, what I'm hearing from both sides is that, they're stuck on who's on first and who's in control. The people ought to be in control.
It's pretty easy. It's a city entity. They're leasing it to this other entity. End of story. Nothing else.
Correct. So we're actually, talking about putting together another meeting next week to get everybody in the room to say, hey, man, let's put our egos aside. Let's put some of these obstacles aside, and let's get this thing done. I don't think the city ought to be the co-developer. Yes, I think the city ought to have some accountables. They ought to have some measurables.
City shouldn't be the co-developer.
The deliverables, but not be in the way.
No, exactly. They're already in the way enough. The city's already prohibitive enough. It's hard enough. Lucky to get it done. The Target deal is, a big question mark still. We'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, you got to get a green light on these things. You mentioned something, get out of the way. I think people in city government, in the state of Louisiana and the city of New Orleans, politicians think they're the chef, they're the band, they're the bartender, they're the they're the meal. No. You know what they are? The person that parks the car and opens the door so the people can go in and the business community can run the restaurant.
You must have been listening to me today. At the hearings, the social order is wrong. In Louisiana, it's politics, business, and people are last. It's supposed to be people, business, and politics as a supporting entity. And I think too often, and you were correct in including the state, and I said this at our hearings today, too often the state and local governments, they want to know what's in it for them first, instead of how can we create an environment where business people and investors can make money and then get ours because of the economic scales that we've created. That's what we need to start doing now.
I'll tell you, the only reason this thing still is on life support and has a pulse is because Troy Henry's a local guy that has dealt with ridiculous, stuff in the past, knows all the hoops you have to jump through and bend over backwards and juggle while hopping on one foot with the bowling pins lit on fire. He knows how to do all this to get the deal finally at the end. And he even seems a little, sort of bent right now. Like, man, I've done a lot of juggling and gimmicks to get the deal and know how the city operates. This one's almost too hard to overcome. He seems pretty flustered.
Well, look, I'm trying to mitigate it, trying to tone down some of the tempers around this deal, and then I think we're close to at least bringing everybody back to the table. But one of his biggest objections is that every little thing they deal with, and everything that they negotiate, every lease, every prospective tenant, then it has to come right back to NORA to then negotiate it with NORA to then have them approved to go back.
That's ridiculous.
Well, why not have quarterly reporting, right? So have some measurables at the end of a quarter, and then if the Bayou Phoenix group doesn't meet those measurables, then they haven't earned the right to continue to develop it. Yeah. But don't have them on day-to-day, minute-to-minute, second-to-second reporting. That doesn't make sense to me.
This is too easy. You could get anyone in the business community that does this and they can hammer out the deal. It's Bayou Phoenix presents the deal, what they plan on doing, what kind of dollars they expect. The city bases their revenue off that. That's the deal. If Bayou Phoenix doesn't hit those marks in 6 months, a year, whatever, you evaluate if there's a legitimate excuse, corona, hurricane, maybe you cut them some slack. If not, you cut them loose. It's like any other deal. It's like any other deal. This isn't anything special. The city just makes it difficult for no reason. And if Troy Henry wasn't low, could you imagine if this was Flying J Truck Stop or Cabela's Bass Pro Shop or Buc-ee's? It'd be embarrassing.
They would have flown already. But you hit the nail on the head. Our challenge coming out of COVID, right? Let's say if we had a blank slate, right? Our challenge coming out of COVID is to see, man, hey, how much business can we create? How easy can we make it for folks to invest here? So people actually want to be here. If you look at what's happening with tourism in the hotel business, in the hospitality business, they're way ahead of where they thought they would be coming out of 2 years of COVID, right? We should have been setting the same table for business. The film industry has been unbelievable through COVID to now. So it's obvious that folk want to be in New Orleans. And I think if we create the right atmosphere where we're telling investors, look, it's the job of the state, it's the job of the municipality to create an environment so you can make money, get a return on your investment, and do business. If we proceeded like that coming out of COVID, I think we'd be in an even stronger position when you talk about business.
Hey, Oliver, before we call it a day, and I appreciate you joining me, the election cycle, it's 2022. That just one particular race, this Mandy Landry Duplessis Senate race.
Yeah.
A lot of on Duplessis, and I'm not saying Duplessis did it or a PAC did it. I don't know who did it, but a lot of we need to make sure we're representing ourselves. We don't need them representing us. This is our seat, and we've got to make sure we retain it. That sort of black versus white thing, I mean, is that still legitimate in 2022, or that's bad politics, or what?
Well, let me say, given the way Judge Shea, his success, Karen Herman's success, especially across the board in the black community,
yep,
I would say no. And, you know, I don't believe in campaigning like that. I don't think you have to do that. You can run on your merit. But there's some extreme groups and outside groups, man, that are getting involved around this country, even in races where they don't need to do that. And I would hope at some point that kind of campaigning would go away. Look, if you got to tear somebody else down to build yourself up, you're probably not qualified, right? If you got to tell a particular audience that seat is just for them, then you probably won't represent everybody.
You want to hear one of the greatest of all time?
What's that?
Ray Reagan. He's a white man in a black skin. I was like, did I really just hear that on my phone? Ray Reagan, he's a white man in a black skin. That was the angle, you know, just that kind of, Oliver, I'm a white male heterosexual. I don't care. You know, the skids are grease for me in America.
I mean, the foolishness,
divisive.
But Corey, you got relationships in all communities, right?
Yep.
So, you know, people, you know, you got black friends, white friends, young friends, old friends, Republican, Democrat, Asian, Hispanic, you know, and I think what's offensive is to people like you and I is that, you know, it's a turnoff when you hear people do that. And I think that's part of this democracy by subtraction. Yeah. Because they're doing it. I mean, we remember the old Moon the Coon stuff that came from folk.
No, it's sickening. You say it, and I chuckle for a second, and I get nauseated at the same time. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
That moves Louisiana and our country forward for more than 125 years. Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans.
No, it's Todd Graffinini. You're thinking it's me. It's the great Todd Graffinini. I'll take the compliment, though. You're not the first person in the make
a destination for learning with 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market. Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
As New Orleans as Mardi Gras, Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
We're all just blocking the street. Come on, I gotta deliver this pizza. Screw it. We won't stop blocking the street. Yeah, stop blocking the street.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for joining us. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour so far, you missed a lot. We started off with Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser joining us. He's blown away that the kooky Republican Party, that he's a proud member of in Louisiana, that they endorsed Jeff Landry for governor. He joined us to discuss that, calling out the chairman, Louis Gersich, and Eddie Responti for, funding it. A few minutes ago, New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas joining us on the program. 5 o'clock powwow. We'll start it off with the Fox 8 story from last night. Lee Zirk, the investigative team, doing the good stuff. A report about an NOPD officer just staying at that Pontalba apartment for many hours during the day while on the clock, talking about the mayor's Pontalba apartment. And then the mayor will be there and no phone calls, no work being done. So the mayor's still at the Pontalba. That's what's amazing. Watering plants. She lives there for personal use, a public building. It's insane. It's got to stop. And then second, this NOPD officer clocks in from 8 in the morning till 8 p.m. And I don't know, is watching my show right now, kicking back on the sofa at that Pontalba apartment. Hey, officer, you might want to get back to work. Might want to actually do your job. We got a crime problem in New Orleans. I love getting this guy on the program. Just a good dude. Jeff Dorson from the Humane Society of Louisiana joining us again. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Corey. You know what I like about your show, besides a lot of things? How you're just willing to call it out.
It's pretty simple. Do your job, everybody, and go home and, kick back. But, I don't know what this culture is that instills this attitude where you don't have to work, but you can get paid. It's a strange culture.
Yeah, no,
so I'm
it
glad
is.
you're calling it out.
No, it is. It's a culture. It's a broken culture in Louisiana. What it is, there are so many people. It's thousands and thousands statewide. It's probably over 1,000 in the city. People that work for the city, have a contract with the city, and people like you and me and everybody watching and listening that work for a living, they see these jokers washing the car in the middle of the day, going fishing, playing golf, and they're wondering what the hell they're doing wrong or why does this guy get a free gig? No, there's too many jokers in city government, state government, that have BS jobs that the next election cycle, someone else gets in and then they go, okay, man, you're taking over, Jeff. Here's a list of 50 people I'd like you to keep. This guy's really important. They keep some, they get rid of some get shifted to other offices. Hey, Jeff, the new guy didn't keep me. Is there somebody in call in state government that can give me a job that I don't do anything? And then the cycle keeps repeating itself. So no, there's too many people like that. Too many broken people. Then you've got to throw in the socioeconomics with the poor population in the state. No, it ain't nothing nice.
Well, I appreciate that you want everybody to keep their standards a little bit higher because it's needed. So thank you. And thank you for all the times you've given me to talk about the only thing I like talking about. Can we be a little bit more humane and kind towards our fellow creatures? I'm talking about your pets, livestock, exotic, any animal. Can we just be nicer? Do we really have to abandon them or withhold food or veterinary care or be mean or intentionally harm them? So thanks for these 5 minutes a week. It really helps.
No, everything you just said, everything you just said, there are people that know everything you just said and simply just choose to not do it. They're cheap or tight or lazy, or the dog doesn't need to go to the vet, or I don't need to give it the heartworms. It's fine. That kind of thing. Or the people are ignorant and they don't know any better and they do not strive to figure it out and learn. So, we have a major problem with that. We're not good with animals in Louisiana. Parishes don't have proper animal care. Look at Orleans Parish. There's not a city entity that takes care of dogs, cats, kittens, and puppies. The city gives the Louisiana SPCA that does a mediocre job at best. Call them right now. They're not going to answer. They're not good. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just not good. And the city gives them like a couple of $1 million to do just a half-assed job. So most cities have a publicly financed pound or, some kind of animal humane type facility. We don't. And the state doesn't really have a lot of them that are very good. Anyway, all right, I'll shut up.
No, I'm delighted. You're saying stuff that doesn't get mentioned, that gets overlooked, that nobody's analyzing anything of what you said, except we're interested. We've been interested for 35 years. We're talking about public animal shelters, probably the least talked about topic ever in the history of the world, but it needs to be because we think it's handled. We think somebody's taking care of it. Somehow animals are comfortable in these nice shelters in every parish. Nothing could be further from the truth. But I'm concerned about your time. Are we approaching the 5 o'clock power hour?
We are. We got about 90 seconds. You're good.
Okay, you let me know. So public animal shelters, lowest funded entity on the planet, but it's what we care about. When you pick up strays, where do they go? In some parishes, there's no place to put them. There's no publicly funded facility. And the administrators simply don't care. We've talked about the lack of care in Louisiana, and it's a strange equation. You come here and you start to realize, how is it that people don't care about others, themselves, the environment, animals? We need to change that. And thank goodness you are good at reminding people we've got to do better in every area, especially treating our fellow creatures. So do something about it, everybody who's listening, who thinks this isn't really that important. Make it important. Call, get involved. I promise you'll actually be inspired. It will change your life. You'll actually have a better approach and appreciate everything that we have around us.
Yep.
It's not a given.
Yep, that's right. There's Blue Boy barking. What's that, Blue Boy? Go on Facebook. Check them out at the Humane Society of Louisiana. They're always updating that. You can see what they're doing. The phone number, what, Blue Boy? 888-6-HUMANE. And Blue Boy even knows the website, Jeff, humanela.org. Jeff, thank you, brother.
I love your dog, and you're the greatest. Talk later.
That's Jeff Dorson, Humane Society of Louisiana,
If you or a loved one
humanela.org.
is suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
I feel personally, when I walk around on the grounds, that it's sacred ground. It's healing. Just the environment is healing. Just being here makes one feel like that, I can let go. I can let go of the worry. I can let go of the stress that I've been carrying around for a long time. We don't shame anybody. We don't blame anybody. We don't judge anyone. Just that alone really is the foundation on which everything else that we do is done.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarm. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, Super discount store in Chalmette.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Are you kidding me? Hawaii 5-0? I gotta tell you, I was just a young tot, 8, 10 years old, 12 years old, 8 or 10 really. When this was coming on, I would watch that montage on the video and the song, and as a child, it was like someone injected sugar in my veins. Just all hyped up. I was like, what a cool montage. I mean, glued to the television watching that every week. And then I just thought the song was pretty, badass. Gotta be one of the best, show songs, show openings, and video, audio and video in the history of television. The old 70s era Hawaii 5-0, the balcony, the McGarrett turning around, the zooming into the cameras. Pretty good stuff. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right, a Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us on the radio, on television till 5:30, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube. That's right. Why don't you check us out on YouTube? Do me a flavor. Go to YouTube, put Corey Johnson, Corey spelled Kaare, Corey Johnson Neutral Ground. Go to our YouTube channel, click to subscribe. It don't cost nothing. Send the link to some friends and family. Have them click to subscribe. That way you've got all the Neutral Ground programs yesterday, last week, last month, today, live right now. Yep, I like our YouTube channel. Pretty cool. That way, YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, the old podcast, you can check out last hour. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser joining us. Shocked as I was, and he's a Republican. I'm not. The Louisiana Republican Party endorsed Jeff Landry for governor on Monday. And Billy Nungesser is like, I'm running for governor too. New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas joined us. Talk about the mayor and the Pontalba a little bit, but mostly about the Six Flags site. Shockingly, it's amazing that the Six Flags site can't get going, that the city of New Orleans can't get moving on that. The Industrial Redevelopment Board meeting along with Bayou Phoenix folks, Troy Henry and the crew talking today, seems like they're going backwards. But the big story, a Fox 8 investigative report, Lee Zurich. This was from Fox 8 last night. I said this was from Fox 8 last night. I don't want the commercial. I don't want the ad. I want the story. Thank you.
The NOPD launches an investigation and reassigns an officer previously assigned to Mayor Cantrell's security detail. Amid our questions about he and Mayor Cantrell are spending their time and your tax dollars.
We found Cantrell sometimes misscheduled meetings and events as she and the officer spent hours during the workday inside a city-owned apartment.
Our new investigation shows what we found when we looked into the mayor's time outside the office. August 2nd of this year. 8:03 in the morning, Mayor LaToya Cantrell arrived at the city-owned Upper Pontalba apartment. In the car with her, security detail NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy. He walks her to the door and leaves. But minutes later, Vappy entered this door that leads to the apartment. And for 5 hours and 40 minutes of his workday, Vappy stayed inside that door. A public records request shows between 10 and 6 that day, the mayor didn't make or take one work call on her cell phones. And for those 8 hours, only responded to 2 emails. One at 10:56 a.m., 2 sentences, asking that a complaint about a mechanical permit be forwarded to the correct person. And one at 2:06 p.m., 2 sentences again, to someone with the Kaare Commission. Much of the workday, an NOPD officer in charge of protecting the mayor was paid to spend nearly 6 hours of his workday inside a city-owned apartment building with Mayor Cantrell.
Is it fair for us to ask questions about this?
It's fair to ask questions because this is a taxpayer-owned property, and these are employees paid by the taxpayers. If the mayor is off duty and she's at home in her private residence, then whatever she does there is her business.
Great point.
Nobody's going to ask questions about that.
Great point.
Citizens are not going to concern themselves with that. But when you are staying in a taxpayer-owned building, and you have employees that are paid by the taxpayers, the taxpayers have a right to know what you are doing in that property, and the taxpayers have a right to know what duties you are performing during those hours.
We've analyzed 45 days worth of surveillance video from a public camera right outside the entrance to the city-owned apartment. For the 35 days we spotted Cantrell at the apartment, Officer Jeffrey Vappy was on the other side of that door for 27 of them. Each day, the minimum amount of total time he spent there in one day was 1 hour and 1 minute. All totaled, in 27 days, he was inside for more than 112 hours. That surveillance video reveals out of the 4 officers paid to protect the mayor, Vappy is the only one who ever entered her apartment. In other words, the camera footage shows officers Luis Martinez and Robert Monlin and Sheriff's Deputy Charles Ellis never entered this door. They didn't spend a minute inside, while Vappy visited 47 different times in 27 days, often going inside this door more than once in a day. In a statement, the mayor's office told us the surveillance and its subsequent publication of the mayor is irresponsible and puts her and her family's safety at risk.
There is no expectation of privacy if you are a public official and you walk into a public building. There is no expectation of privacy because you are a public official paid by the taxpayers and you are entering a public building that is owned by the taxpayers.
That's exactly
and the taxpayers do have the right to know what's going on.
The Dillard professor nails it.
That they own.
August 16th, about an hour before Vappy went on the clock, he arrived at the French Quarter apartment. 20 minutes before his NOPD shift started, Vappy and the mayor left in workout clothes. More than an hour later, 10 a.m., they returned to the Pantaba and stayed there for more than 4 hours. According to her city calendar, the mayor was scheduled to make welcome remarks at 9:30 a.m. at a Baptist Foreign Mission convention. During that time, she was in the Upper Pantaba with Officer Vappy as well. We confirmed with the convention she didn't make remarks, but sent someone else in her place. The mayor also missed a 1:15 p.m. pop-in meeting with Senator Bill Cassidy's team. At 2:16, there's Officer Vappy leaving the Pantaba, not wearing the workout clothes he arrived in, but instead a suit. At 2:30, the mayor's calendar noted an in-person meeting about the Sewage and Water Board. 7 minutes after that meeting was supposed to start, the mayor left the apartment, dressed for work. So again, on August 16th, the mayor and Officer Vappy spent 4.5 hours inside the Upper Pantaba in the middle of the workday. According to a response to our records request, the mayor didn't send one email during that time, and the city says she didn't make one phone call on her cell phones.
Taxpayers are wondering, is business getting done? If business is getting done, are you carrying out your official duties? Are you doing the taxpayers' business? If so, what business is being done? I think that's really the questions that the taxpayers would have.
According to NOPD timesheets, on August 9th, Officer Vappy went on the clock at 8 a.m. There he is, entering the Upper Puntava Apartments at 7:55.
Unreal.
With a grocery bag and a case of bottled water. The mayor arrived about 45 minutes later at 8:42. According to the mayor's schedule, on August 9th, Vappy wasn't assigned as a security on duty. The city wouldn't tell us his assignment that day, but both Vappy and Cantrell remained in the Upper Puntava building most of the workday. Vappy left at 3:09 in the afternoon, all while getting paid by the NOPD.
But he's actually with her during that time when he's not assigned to her. If that's also happening, that raises a question.
It is happening.
That tells me we're paying him, again, the city's citizens of New Orleans and Orange Parish, we're paying the police to have this guy work. If he's assigned to do X, but he's not doing X, he's allegedly protecting the mayor in an apartment where she probably doesn't need protection.
Exactly.
Again, that's not only the unseemly aspect of it, but it's a misuse of his time.
That same day, August 9th, Vappy went off the clock at 8 p.m., but he and the mayor both returned to the apartment a little after 8:30. Vappy left about 4 hours later, past midnight, at 12:42 a.m. Fast forward the camera nearly an hour. There's the mayor then leaving at 1:26 a.m. That night, city records show the mayor didn't send one email and said she didn't make one phone call for the city on her cell phones. Even off the clock, Vappy spent more than 4 hours in the Puntava.
They're going there for
unbelievable. It really is. It's an unbelievable story. And you got to give Lee Zurich a lot of credit for doing a great
discount
job.
store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. As New Orleans as a roast beef po' boy.
Red meat po' boy, duck po' boy.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground in Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Po' boy, roast beef po' boy, alligator po' boy.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Are you on the Causeway right now? Why don't you fire in a to-go order on a Thursday night at Trey Inn? Get a little jump start on the weekend. Who's going to be disappointed at the house if you roll in there with a big to-go order from Trey Inn? Mom, dad, the kids, everybody's happy. Everybody. So many great choices. Louisiana seafood. Don't forget the Tong Cho sauce. The phone number, you know the area code 985. Phone number 626-4476. 626-4476. Trey Inn in Mandeville. So good. It's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. It's Trey Inn in Mandeville. Dine in, too. Yeah. Right at the foot of the Causeway, you North Shore, folks. 25 short minutes from Lakeside. Here's more from Lee Zurich and that Fox 8 report last night. Just fantastic work on the NOPD officer frequently inside of Mayor Cantrell's city-owned apartment, the city-owned apartment that Mayor Cantrell has been using personally. Here's more of that Lee Zurich investigative report.
Vappy went off the clock at 8 p.m., but he and the mayor both returned to the apartment a little after 8:30. Vappy left about 4 hours later, past midnight, at 12:42 a.m. Fast forward the camera nearly an hour. There's the mayor then leaving at 1:26 a.m.
Middle of the night,
that
by
night,
herself.
City records show the mayor didn't send one email and
At
said
1:30
she
in the morning,
didn't make one phone call
walking
for the city
around the
on
corner
her
by
cell
herself.
phones.
The security
Even
thing
off
is
the
a
clock,
farce.
Vappy spent more than 4 hours in the Pantaba.
They're going there for long periods of time where it appears she's not doing any work during that time. No phone calls.
This is Joel
meetings,
Friedman, by the way, a
emails.
Tulane
What is he doing
lawyer,
there? Why is he,
law professor,
of all the details that she's got, all the officers on detail, he's the only one that takes her into the apartment and stays there with her 4 hours? Is he there to protect her? And if she needs protection inside this apartment in the Pontalba, why is he the only one of her detail that ever goes in there? And why sometimes does he leave before she does, letting her walk out the door and walk to some other car blocks away, unprotected by him?
We have many more examples. September 9th, Vappy inside the Upper Pantaba for nearly 7 hours. The mayor's calendar shows he wasn't scheduled to be on duty as her security, but he was paid for 12 hours of work that day.
It's unreal.
Some of it inside this door.
It's criminal.
We found Vappy entering the apartment early many mornings, leaving late at night, mostly alone, sometimes there before the mayor arrived. We found several days where we spotted Vappy on the balcony of the apartment, watering plants.
It's unreal.
While being paid by the NOPD.
It's not believable.
Like September 7th, There he is at 6:10 at night. His NOPD
Watering
timesheet says
plants.
he was on the clock until
The mayor
8
has
that
taken
night.
possession of
Records
this
show
apartment.
Vappy joined the mayor's security team in late May of last year, 2021. But this year, he's earned more money than any other officer in her team, making more in overtime, already being paid in total more than $120,000 through September of this year.
mind-blowing?
Vappy is also
Watering
accompanied the mayor
plants on the
some of her
balcony of the
trips.
city-owned
In fact,
Pontalba.
after
The guy
reviewing
pulls
her
$120
travel records,
a year.
we found Vappy is the only officer who flew first class next to the mayor on a trip to San Francisco. There he is in seat 3E, the mayor in 3F. The cost of that flight for Vappy, $821. But there's more.
Thank you, Mr. Vappy, for joining the board.
In March of this year, the mayor appointed Vappy to the board of the Housing Authority of New Orleans. Here's audio of him attending his first meeting.
Commissioner Vappy?
Vappy, present.
According to his LinkedIn
Please,
page,
sir,
Vappy
it's thorough.
doesn't have any experience
You're
in
not
public
impressed
housing.
that you don't understand
Mayor
journalism
still appointed
and
him
work.
to the board.
That raises questions because generally speaking, it's standard practice not to appoint public employees to public boards simply because there could be a potential conflict of interest, especially when you're dealing with a law enforcement officer. Generally speaking, there could be a conflict of interest there. There could be investigations that he may have to oversee. It is generally speaking not the norm to appoint public employees to public boards, again, because there's just too much of a potential legal conflict of interest.
His first Hanno meeting on March 29th started at 4 p.m. and lasted past 6. For the entire meeting, Vappy was paid by taxpayers to work for the NOPD, but instead attended a volunteer job as Hanno board member. We found 2 more days this year, August 23rd.
Commissioner Jeffrey Vappy.
Present.
And September 20th.
Commissioner Jeffrey Vappy.
Present.
Vappy attending a Hanno meeting while being paid to protect and serve.
Well, I think taxpayers would say if he's a police officer, why isn't he doing police work?
Ultimately, both Robert Collins and Joel Friedman say questions need to be directed to the mayor. She is Vappy's superior, his supervisor, and both say taxpayers will want to know why the mayor and her police security detail spends so many hours of the workday alone inside a city-owned building. Like on Thursday, August 11th, other than a few quick trips outside the apartment, the two were there from 7:45 a.m. until 1:45 in the afternoon. The next day, they both arrived around 8:30 a.m. and left separately after 11. On Thursday, August 18th, there's the mayor at 2:49 in the afternoon watering plants on the balcony.
Wow.
About an hour later at 3:40, Vappy arrived in an NOPD uniform. 78 minutes later, he left the French Quarter apartment building. All time during the workday, Vappy spent hours at the apartment, all examples of him doing it while being paid by taxpayers. Early last week, we sent a lengthy letter to the mayor's communications staff and Vappy, laying out our findings and questions being raised in this story. The mayor's office sent us a response that didn't directly address the points raised in this story, but did say while we don't comment on the mayor's executive protection policies and protocols, we do attest to the fact that Officer Vappy and all members of the mayor's executive protection team personify the level of devotion expected and required as a public servant to the city of New Orleans. We acknowledge their sacrifice and honor their service. Friedman and Collins say the mayor should respond directly to taxpayers, our viewers, who are paying thousands of dollars for an NOPD officer and the mayor to spend part of many workdays outside the office.
Watering plants and the like. By the way, the mayor did not have any real decent response. Although today, and that was Lee Zurich's investigative report on Fox 8 last night, breaking 10 o'clock news. I thought it was fantastic, well done, thorough. That thing was like 13 minutes long. I mean, Lee's not messing around. Anyway, I believe Cassie Sherm today, if I'm not mistaken, with Channel 6, got a microphone in front of the mayor. And let's see if I can find that. I thought I had that audio. I could have sworn I had that audio. Anyway, the mayor did have a comment, which I want to play for you because it was ridiculous. Let's see. I think I've got that audio coming up in a second if I can find it. All right. When asked about the investigation about the city-owned Pontalba apartments and the use of the security detail, NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappel, this is what the mayor had to say today.
Integrity's Bureau, which is a leader. The Public Integrity's Bureau, which is a leader, I would say, in law enforcement practices across the United States of America. I'm standing firm behind their investigation that is happening right now, and standing very firm behind an officer that has demonstrated that he is a value and he's an asset and a trusted advisor and a member of my team.
I'll tell you what, very nervous, very rattled, she wasn't like stuttering, but she's rattled. She knows there's a lot out there now. And you, Lee Zirk, I thought very well done, very professional. I don't think there was any insinuation. I'll tell you this much. I know that building has Cox Cable, which makes me think the mayor and Vappel have watched this very program, might be watching right now on Cox Television at the Pontalba building, for all I know. No, I think Lee did a great job. I think social media is going to take this and run with it like social media does. I mean, I've often said this. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not a quote person. Man, that's a great quote from Johnson. I got like a single quote in my life, maybe two. But one of them is about social media. It's an original. Social media is like a kazoo. Anyone can play. And the extended version of that quote is, and only the person playing the kazoo wants to hear it. Anybody can do that. That's what a kazoo is. No talent required. It's not, boy, listen to that person on the violin, or they're incredible on the guitar. They really can play the piano. It's not somebody who spent hours and hours, years and years, tuning in their craft, fine-tuning their craft and becoming really proficient at that instrument. A kazoo is anybody can do it. Social media, it's not professionals necessarily. It's not people getting paid. It's just anybody, anywhere, anytime giving their opinion. That's all. No, it's like a kazoo. Anyone can play. That's fine. Corey Johnson with you. Coming right back on a 5 o'clock powwow with Thursday.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench More exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years. We mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper.
Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
Is that Snooks Eaglin, I think? Or is that Gatemouth Brown? Yikes. Corey Johnson back at you. The mayor, irresponsible, putting me and my family at risk. Stay at your house, mayor, and there would not be a problem. This is all on the mayor. Don't kid yourself. No one is blaming. I should say there's no one to blame but the mayor. Excuse me. There's no one to blame but the mayor. If this was going on Louisiana Avenue, Louisiana Place, wherever the mayor lives off Claiborne's, it'd be a different story. It'd be a no story. Unless the policeman was being followed to the house and was on the clock. I think the policeman became the after story. It's just monitoring video of the public camera. This is the beauty of this whole thing. The camera that Fox 8 is accessing is the mayor's camera. It is the French Quarter Corporation's camera. They control the Pontalba building, where the city of New Orleans has a couple of apartments for official city business, not for personal use. That's so simple. Anyone who wants to make it a long paragraph or a 5-minute discussion, there's so many clowns and jokers out there. It's a sickness. Want to justify Edwin Edwards BS or Bill Jefferson or Mark Morial or Aaron Broussard or whatever. I don't get it. I don't understand these second-rate people that don't strive for excellence themselves, do the opposite, want to live vicariously through some sack of crap politician we elected, some criminal, some crook, John Alario. These people are jokers. They laugh at you. Laugh at you. What can we get away with? They're not good people. No, and we want to cut them slack. People want to cut the mayor some slack. I don't know. They think it's racist, sexist, something. No, a lot of folks that want to, they're worried about losing power. It's a black thing, whatever. I don't know what it is. I mean, the mayor's got two things to her advantage, that she's black and female. How much slack does that cut her? What do you think the mayor would be catching if she was a white male right now? It'd be relentless. She's thrown out the black, the female thing, my child, right now. Irresponsible, putting me and my family at risk. I don't see anything, Lee Zurich, Fox 8, anyone showing the mayor's kid going in that Pontalba apartment. I bet you the mayor's never brought the kid to the Pontalba apartment. Kid's smart, 13, 14, can figure stuff out. Keep the kid out of it. Keep the family out of it. Don't make this comments and then do the opposite. 1:30 in the morning, you're walking a few blocks to your car by yourself in the quarter. Well, there's no one in your life that's telling you that's a bad idea. As a female, take it as a sexist comment if you want. You want reality? You can call this, I don't know, would it be a geriatric bias? Elderly people, people that appear to be weak or frail, women, they're more susceptible in the quarter or any city or anywhere to crime or criminals. Most criminals are men, males, that are committing these crimes. Do women commit these crimes sometimes? Sure. I'm sure a woman has hit someone over the head and stolen something and run through the quarter. But I'd say like 99.9% of the time it's males. It's men. So there's a physical part of it. You know, it's not safe. Mayor's walking through the quarter at 1:30 in the morning, just crazy. Bad decision-making on that alone. That's just something personal, me saying that. I wouldn't recommend that. No, the Fox 8 investigative report with Lee Zurich, top-notch, an NOPD officer while on the clock, spending a lot of the time, I don't know, maybe watching my show, kicking back on the sofa, feet up on the coffee table, watching my show on Cox Channel 4 on Your View, Louisiana. Because she has Cox TV. You remember she had the cop come down and wait for Cox TV to show up to install it right. This is a city-owned Pontalba apartment for official city business, not for personal use. I had Oliver Thomas on. I joke with him. Hey, Oliver, when do you get your, month at the Pontalba? I want to come and hang out on the balcony. When the mayor's watering plants, when this officer that's been spending a lot of time at the Pontalba is watering the mayor's plants on the balcony, and while he's on the clock, supposed to be fighting crime in New Orleans as a cop. I've often said this. A policeman that commits a crime, it's worse than a citizen because they're a cop. A criminal that shoots a cop, it's worse than a criminal shooting a citizen because it's a cop. Brazen. Both. Now, when the mayor's watering plants on the balcony, it is her apartment. The mayor takes that as her apartment. I think a J.P. Morrell or Helena Moreno, they simply need to be like, when do I get use of the apartment, Mayor? When do I get use of the apartment? No, it's there's going to be, I don't know who the mayor's kidding. She's just so cheap and tight. Instead of go rent an apartment, go live in another apartment like everyone else has to do. I got separated, divorced. I had to figure out what to do on my own like every adult has to do. I didn't go stay at the city-owned, Pontalba for free. No, this is getting investigated. The IG might investigate it. You got journalists on top of it. I don't know why the mayor just beats her head against the wall and does this belligerent stuff. Not going to get away with it. Fuels the NoLatoya.org recall. Literally fuels that. The mayor walks up to the fire with gas cans and matches. She's back, beep, 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 backing a fuel truck up. Just fuels the fire. Just as long as she's yapping, blah, 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 and actions, takes care of itself. Fuels the NoLatoya.org recall. I think tomorrow they're supposed to have a major press conference. Eileen Carter joined us on the show. What was that, on Tuesday? And she said Thursday or Friday, a major media conference by the NoLatoya.org folks. So look for that tomorrow. Boy, a lot to cover today. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser joined us in the 4 o'clock hour to talk about the crazy Republican Party that he loves and is a part of, how they sold him out and endorsed Jeff Landry without really an official convention or vote, endorsing him for governor of Louisiana instead of Billy Nungesser. He joined us to talk about it. New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas joined us, spoke about the Six Flags site. It's more than a year later, nothing on Six Flags. After today, maybe going backwards, the Industrial Development Board meeting and discussing the Six Flags site. Troy Henry, Bayou Phoenix owner, was in attendance. He's supposed to be the developer. We talked about that. And then I also asked Oliver Thomas about elections, specifically Duplessis versus Mandy Landry for that Senate race, black male, white female. Duplessis's campaign or PAC, whatever, the anti-Landry, Mandy Landry people, they were running commercials like, we need to protect ourselves. We don't need them representing us. This has been a historically black seat. We need to make sure it stays that way. This is important for us. We don't need them, this black and white divisiveness. Oliver said, that isn't how he runs it. He doesn't believe in a campaign like that. He thinks it's divisive. It's hurtful. It's going backwards. I agree. It's 2022. Could some Asian running, like in a predominantly Asian, like in New Orleans East, like the Far East, where it's mostly Vietnamese, could they be like some Asian guy going, hey, it's really important. We don't need that black candidate. We need Vietnamese representation. Could you imagine that? Or a Latino saying we don't need the black or white candidate. We need Latino representation. But in New Orleans, man, I joked with Oliver Thomas. I remember the guy McKinnon. I felt bad for him. The voice guy that is in the, I say he's inside the little igloos with the speaker at Jazz Fest. Taxi cabs to the right, exit to the left, Gentilly Boulevard. Buses are here. I do a pretty good McKenna. I don't do too many good voices, but I got him down pretty good. I remember he got paid to do a voicer for the opposition to Ray Nagin running for mayor. And it was obviously geared towards the hardcore black community. I picked up my phone one day and McKenna's voice was on it. Ray Reagan, he's a white man in a black skin. That was the line. Ray Reagan, calling him like Reagan, like Ronald Reagan, like he's a white conservative. Ray Reagan, he's a white man in a black skin. I mean, just how overtly racist and divisive and negative is that? But McKenna got a big check and did it anyway. Now I was like, come on, man. McKenna's a good dude. And he has had great pipes. May he rest in peace. Ray Reagan, he's a white man in a black skin. I was like, really? Did I really hear that right? Boy, Pastor P.J. Morton should be ashamed. Buddy Bolden's home. How is this possible? P.J. Morton is about P.J. Morton. Katrina obviously proved that when he beelined to Houston. But this Buddy Bolden home that Pastor P.J. Morton owns, he's claiming, I didn't know it was Buddy Bolden's home. And then when he found out it's been years later, it's close to demolition by neglect. I mean, isn't the son a Grammy Award-winning musician? This is Buddy Bolden's house, P.J. Morton. The city did the right thing. They seized the house. It's over 100 years old. They'll auction it. Somebody normal will buy it and redo it, dedicated to Buddy Bolden.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
If you or a loved one are suffering from Parkinson's disease, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
People started coming to us and asking for help for things other than addiction. We have a Parkinson's patient here. He comes in once a month and gets his little booster because that's what you have to do. In 2 hours after he started, his tremors in his hands stopped. So he said, Paula, your major marketing challenge is that it's too good to be true. But it's true. It truly is true. We can't say that all of these things have a cure, but these things happen and they're real.
Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
Make the call, 504-291-4000, 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center, springfieldwellnesscenter.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. nola.woodhousespas.com.
As New Orleans is catching a sunset on Lake Pontchartrain.
Even the mosquitoes, they sashay through the Nolans air.
Corey Johnson.
Oh, and when they bite you, you don't go, ow. You go, oh.
Yeah, you right. So much going on today. You can always check out something you missed via YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, or Spotify. You know, Rouse's Markets have been around for over 60 years, 60 plus years, and they're over 60 Rouse's Markets. From Lake Charles all the way down I-10 through Mobile, Alabama, down on the southern Alabama coast. You folks that go to like Orange Beach, Ono Island, Gulf Shores, Alabama, there's a Rouse's right there on the main corner, on the main drag, right on the corner. You folks that go down there a lot know that Rouse's right there, just like a Rouse's in Metairie or the North Shore or New Orleans. Over 60 Rouses, 20 plus in Metro New Orleans. Yeah, it's Rouse's country. Southeast Louisiana, New Orleans. Best quality, best price, best selection. Tastes like home. There's a Rouse's Market in your neighborhood or right next door to your neighborhood. Rouse's Markets. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Fox 8 investigation. Lee Zurich. Check it out on their website. NOPD officer, while on the clock, spending a lot of the time with the mayor at the city-owned Pontalba apartment. And then Lee and his staff are so smart. They do public records requests, which have to be given, but the mayor's freely giving them, probably quickly. Oh, the cell phone records? Yeah, I didn't make many calls that day. Emails? Didn't do too many that day. Have no idea that it's about your time you spent at the Pontalba. Doing what? And then this police officer on the clock from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 12 hours. He made about $120,000 so far this year, like in 10 months, like 120 grand. It's mind-blowing. My God, I'd go be an NOPD officer, 120 grand. No, I wouldn't, but boy, that's a lot of money. A lot of people would. Hey, come be in the NOPD, make 120 grand. Watch Corey's show on Cox TV with sitting on the sofa with your feet on the coffee table at the Pontalba apartment with the mayor. I mean, it's mind-blowing. No, this is all on the mayor. No one to blame but her. If this was going on at her house, it would be a different story, but it is a public building that the mayor is taking control of. Plants on the balcony, water in the balcony, her toothbrush, her toothpaste, her clothes, her sheets. She's staying at the Pontalba. It's her apartment. She thinks. Problem is, it's a city-owned for official city business only, not for personal use. I had Oliver Thomas on the show. I asked him, when do you get dibs on the apartment? He just laughed. No, he knows the mayor's not supposed to be there. That's the next thing, the mayor getting ousted, maybe having to pay the rent. Just this entitlement mentality, like going in that, club at the Pelicans game last week. The chairman's club where people are paying 50, 60, 70 grand to buy premium tickets that keeps the team in town, the expensive stuff. And the mayor goes in there to pilfer high-end drinks and food with her entourage. Just pathetic, weak, petty, childish. Act like you've been there before. Pretend you're the mayor. Mayor. Act like you're the mayor. Mayor. More than a year later, nothing at the Six Flags site. Industrial Development Board meeting and discussing the Six Flags site. Troy Henry, the Bayou Phoenix guy who's supposed to be developing it, meeting there. Maybe going backwards on that. Pastor P.J. Morton should be ashamed of himself. Buys the Buddy Bolden home, pretends he doesn't know it was Buddy Bolden's home, gets notified of that years ago, still doesn't invest any money in it. Yeah, Pastor P.J. Morton, who's loaded, who has 12-cylinder Mercedes, and after Katrina, abandoned New Orleans and Central City and went to Houston because that's where the money is. Got to buy the Rolexes. How is this possible that P.J. Morton lets this house almost go to demolition by neglect? Well, because P.J. Morton's about P.J. Morton. Like I told you, after Katrina, he went to Houston. Now, isn't his son a Grammy Award-winning musician? This is Buddy Bolden's house. I mean, my God, birthplace of music, New Orleans. Every genre, major genre, either created or influenced out of New Orleans. Buddy Bolden's as big as it gets. This is his house. It's over 100 years old. And P.J. Morton, the pastor, just letting it go to demolition by neglect when he has the money to fix it. 40 grand would secure it, where no one could go in or out, and it's safe and secure. You could put an alarm system, light it up, all that. 100 grand would probably really fix the whole house up, where it'd be pretty decent. The city did the right thing. They have seized the house from P.J. Morton, and they'll auction it off. And watch what's going to happen. Someone righteous is going to buy it, and they're going to convert it. And it's going to be some museum or something. It'll be dedicated to Buddy Bolden. It'll be nice. No, that's sinful. Sinful, no pun intended. Sports Illustrated article, inside Tulane's near miraculous turnaround that almost never happened. And it talks about how Tulane football almost went away a few times. I never, ever, ever do this. It's perfect timing, top of the hour. But talk to real Tulane fans, especially those in the know that are, say, 50 plus. 20 years ago when then Scott Cowan was trying to shut down athletics at Tulane, eliminate football or turn it into like Division III, basically eliminate it. I broke the story. I had an inside person at Tulane that I called Oliver N. Blue. And this guy basically, along with one other source for verification purposes, I just got a lot of information and broke the story of Cowan's plans. I remember him seeing him at the Dome and he just turned his back to me. It was comical. No, I wrecked the plans of Scott Cowan. They had board members from all across the country ready to vote this in. It was going to happen. So it's probably the only time you'll hear me say it. I pat myself on the back for that. Mike the Tigers cage at LSU. I often used to talk about that when I was on a different station at night all over the country. How do we let this Huey Long era cage exist when we could have an Audubon Institute type enclosure like we see at the world-class Audubon Zoo? That's right, Blue Boy. That's about all the bragging you'll hear from me. But yeah, I just wanted to. I said that SI article nationwide. I'm like, I think talk to Tulane fans. Corey Johnson had something to do with saving Tulane football 20 years ago. All right, I'm done. Yeah, you're right. Pelicans coming up tonight in a little while from the Smoothie King Center. I'll see you mañana, 93.9 FM New Orleans. Fantasy Friday tomorrow. Be there.